Hey everyone, Random Randy here, and this is going to be a video tutorial for my Forest Fairy hood. This project is a great way to use up scraps. There are several different yarn combination options here in the written pattern, and I will explain them briefly here. If you would like to grab the written pattern, it is available on patreon.com for patrons at the $5 level, or you can purchase it outright through Etsy and Ravelry. The yarn combination options are as follows. You can either have a super bulky strand of yarn held together with a worsted weight or number 4 yarn, 2 strands of number 5 bulky yarn, or 4 strands of worsted weight yarn. I know that sounds crazy and it sounds like a lot, but it works up super quick this way and it is totally worth it. And it means that you can make so many one-of-a-kind items. The hook that we will be using is an 11.5 millimeter hook, or a P hook. In this case, I am using a Susan Bates hook. It is a plastic hook and it came in a set of 5 or 6, but any 11.5 millimeter hook will do. Other things you will need are scissors. I like to use these teeny tiny little ones because I can carry them in my small notions pouch and they don't take up a lot of space. You'll also need a tapestry needle to weave in ends. This one is specifically for bulky yarn and I can usually stuff all 4 strands together with this particular one. As far as yarn goes, I'm going to show you the ones that I'm going to be using in this particular one, but I will have also shown some pictures of the other completed ones that I have. The yarns I'm planning to use are this Caron Simply Soft Party in Spring Sparkle. You don't have to, but I like to use 1 sparkle yarn at least for the edging in this, if not for the whole thing. It just really makes it pop and stand out. Also going to be using this green Red Heart Super Saver. I'm not sure exactly what the color is, as this is actually from a scrap yarn and partial yarn inheritance that I picked up for super cheap this summer. Also going to be using Red Heart Super Saver in Zebra. This is just a black and white variegated yarn. And we'll also be using this more subdued green. I'm not sure what this yarn is, but I would say, judging from the size and feel of it, it's probably a newer Red Heart Super Saver. And yes, all 4 of these yarn types will be held together and worked with at the same time. So I'm going to get these set up and get back with you real quick to show you how we're going to get this thing going. And in case anyone is interested in the way that I like to have my yarn set up while I'm working with it, especially with 4 strands all at the same time, I have these little wash basins that I got on Amazon for pretty cheap. They were in a pack of 3, and it helps keep the yarn off the floor and lets it move around a little bit and keeps it all organized. So definitely a good idea to have something like that to encapsulate and hold your yarn. A bag might work, but with how much it's moving, it might flop over and bounce around. So as you can see, I've got all 4 strands of my yarn here, and we're going to be starting off with a magic ring. This pattern has some more intermediate stitches in it, but I am going to be showing each of them to you as we come to them, so even if you don't know how to do them, I'll go through it slowly with you a few times so that you'll be able to pick it up in no time and still be able to make this awesome hood. So to start off with a magic ring, I always like to take my yarn and wrap it around about 3 fingers, cross it over. I like to also hold on to all of the working yarn with my pinky. It's just kind of habit from knitting sometimes, I suppose. Stick the hook underneath the solid loop, grab your working yarn, all 4 strands, pull it through. Now you're going to chain 2, which will secure your ring and get your yarn up to the proper height to do all of the stitches for this round. For row 1, we're going to be doing 4 double crochets into the center of the ring. A double crochet, you yarn over your hook, put it through the center of the ring, grab your yarn, pull up a loop, so now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, going to go through the middle 2 only, and with 4 strands of yarn, this might take a little bit of work to get used to. Now that there's 2 left, yarn over and go through the remaining 2. That is a double crochet stitch. Yarn over, go through the center, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, go through your center 2, yarn over once more, go through the last 2. So now that we have 2 double crochets, we're going to make 2 more. And unless I say specifically your chain 2 or your starting chain does not count as a stitch. So 2 more double crochets to finish off this row. Now we've got 4 double crochets. Now you can see I'm kind of sliding it along on the ring here. And you're going to grab your tail. You're going to pull, tug, adjust, wiggle until it brings everything close together. Now these first 2 rounds are going to be kind of fidgety because they are small. Now we're going to go into the top of the first double crochet with a slip stitch. To do that, you're just going to go under both parts of the top of the stitch, yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it back through the loop that's already on the hook. And as you can see, just doing that pulls this portion into a tidy little almost cone shape. You can adjust the tightness of your circle as you go. It's probably going to loosen up as you work, so it's not really hypercritical right now that it be super tight. Now we're going to do row 2. We're going to chain 2 just as before. And then we're just going to put a double crochet into each of the remaining stitches. So now that the 4th double crochet is complete, we're going to go again into the top of the first double crochet and slip stitch to join the round together. That is round 2 complete. Now we're going to move on to round 3. Round 3, chain 2. Going to do 1 double crochet into the first stitch, which is right next to the starting chain. And in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase, or 2 double crochet stitches. The next stitch will be 1 double crochet. And the 4th stitch in the round is another increase, so it will get 2 double crochets. That will put our stitch count for the row at 6 stitches. Then, as before, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. And now we are ready to start off row 4. Row 4, going to chain 2. And every stitch around is going to be an increase stitch, which means you put 2 double crochets into each existing stitch. So at the end of this row, you will have 12 double crochet stitches. So go ahead and pause the video here so you can finish the row. And thanks to the power of movie magic and video editing, I will meet back up with you when this row is complete. We have now reached the end of row 4, and as in all the previous rounds, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet to join the round. For row 5, we're going to chain 2, one double crochet into that same stitch that your chain is attached to. And then the next stitch is an increase stitch, so 2 double crochets. And you're going to repeat that same stitch pattern all the way around. 1 double crochet, increase, 1 double crochet, increase, all the way around until you get to the end of the row. Now that we've reached the end of row 5, you should have 18 double crochet stitches, and we're going to join the round with a slip stitch. And now we are ready to begin row 6. We're going to start off with a chain 2. We're going to put 1 double crochet into that first stitch, 1 double crochet into the second stitch, and we're going to increase in the third, so 2 double crochets in this third stitch. So you're going to be repeating that pattern of 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, increase all the way around. So your next stitch is 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So go ahead and pause the video here and finish up round 6, and I will meet you at the end to get started on row 7. Now we are at the end of row 6, and as with all of the previous rounds, I'm going to join into the top of the first double crochet, and you should have 24 double crochet stitches at the end of row 6. Now we're going to start row 7, just yet another chain 2, starting chain to begin. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, including the one that's at the base of your starting chain. So 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and the 4th stitch gets an increase, so 2 double crochets into the 4th. So we're going to be repeating the sequence of 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, increase into the 4th. So go ahead and finish up round 7 and meet me back at the end, and we shall carry on from there. Now we are at the end of row 7, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of the double crochet, the first one of the round, and you should have 30 double crochet stitches. Now, if you have the written pattern, there are instructions on how to make a small hood that would fit a child, a medium for a teen or small adult, and a large which will fit pretty much any grown-up person. I'm going to be showing you the full instructions here to make the adult-sized hat. So now we are going to be starting row 8. I'm going to chain 2, and now we're going to double crochet into 4 stitches and increase on the 5th. So double crochet into the same stitch as the base of the starting chain, double crochet into the 2nd, double crochet into the 3rd, double crochet into the 4th, and the 5th stitch will be the increase stitch, so this gets 2 double crochets. So we're going to continue that pattern all the way around until the end, which is again double crochet into 4 stitches and increase into the 5th. So finish that round and I'll meet you when you're ready to move on to round 9. Now we have reached the end of row 8. So we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet from the round, and you should have 36 double crochet stitches all the way around this row. Moving on to row 9, starting chain of 2. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet for 8 stitches. So make sure you catch that one at the bottom of your starting chain. There's 1. Going to do 7 more. So now that we've done 8 double crochets, the 9th stitch is going to be an increase. So it's going to get 2 double crochets into that 9th stitch. So you're going to repeat that all the way around. 1 double crochet for 8 stitches and an increase in the 9th. So go ahead and do that and meet me at the end, and we're almost done with the regular hat portion of the hood. Now that we have reached the end of row 9, we're just going to slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet to join the round. And row 10 is super duper easy. You're going to chain 2, and you're just going to do a double crochet in every stitch all the way around. Yep, that's it. That is it for round 10. So go ahead and do that and meet me at the end of the row, and we're going to start actually turning this thing into a hood. And now that we have wrapped up row 10, this is going to be the last row that we're going to actually be joining it here in the round. So slip stitch right on into that first double crochet. And we are ready to start doing treble crochets and half double crochets for row 11. So as I said, this is going to be a little bit more labor intensive, but it's totally going to be worth it. So starting off row 11, I'm going to chain 4. Now we're going to be doing a treble crochet increase. So we're going to be doing 2 treble crochet stitches right into the base of the stitch that's attached to our starting chain. A treble crochet is really just a double crochet with a few extra steps. So to treble crochet, you yarn over once and you yarn over a second time. Then you put your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 4 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through the 2 remaining on your hook. That is how you do a treble crochet. So just to show you that again, treble crochet, you yarn over once, twice, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So now there are 4 on your hook. Yarn over again, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. So there you go, you've got your first chunk done. Now the next stitch is going to be a double crochet increase. So that means you're going to do 2 double crochet stitches right into the next stitch. Now, this next portion is going to be immensely easier. You are going to do half double crochets for the rest of the row until there are 6 stitches left in the row. So the 7th stitch in this direction from your starting chain is going to be where the last half double crochet is going to go. So a half double crochet, in case you've never done one before, yarn over, through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so there's 3 on the hook, yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3 of the loops that are on the hook. That is a half double crochet. Again, yarn over, through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 3 on the hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. Now you're just going to do that all the way around until there are 6 unworked stitches left. So go ahead, pause the video here and do that, and I will meet you when you're finished. Now that we are done with our half double crochets for round 11, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches left unworked. The next stitch is going to be a double crochet increase, so it's going to get 2 double crochets. And The next stitch is going to be a treble crochet increase. So just to show you the treble again, yarn over twice, into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 4, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And that wraps up row 11. Now, obviously, you can see here that there is a small gap. This is actually going to be at the neck, at the back of the hood. It's going to start flaring out here so that it will comfortably fit around your neck. So now we're going to turn the work, and we're going to chain 4 again for row 12. This first stitch here at the base of the chain is going to be a treble crochet increase. So 2 treble crochets will go into this stitch. The second stitch will be a treble crochet increase as well. So again, 2 treble crochets will go into the second stitch. The third stitch is going to be a double crochet. And then the rest of the row, you are going to do half double crochets until there are 3 stitches left unworked. So go ahead and get cracking on those half double crochets and meet me at the end of the row. Now that there are only 3 stitches left unworked in row 12, this third stitch from the end is going to get 1 double crochet. And both of the remaining stitches are going to be treble crochet increases. So you're going to end up with 4 treble crochets between both of these last stitches. So just to show you the way that the shape is turning out here, as you can see, this back portion of the neck is going to get a little bit wider so that it will fit perfectly on your neck. Moving on to row 13, we're going to chain 4. Turn the work, and every stitch all the way to the end of this row is just a treble crochet. So make sure you catch the one that is directly under the starting chain, and you're good to go. Do your treble crochets all the way around and meet me after you finish the last one, and we'll be done with row 13. Now that we have finished the last treble crochet in row 13, we are ready to move on to row 14. So we're going to chain 4 and turn the work over. This first stitch at the bottom of the chain 4 is going to be a treble crochet increase. So 2 treble crochets go into this first space. The second space is another treble crochet increase. So 2 treble crochets go into the second space. The third space is a double crochet increase, so that's going to be 2 double crochet stitches into the same space. And now you are going to double crochet for the rest of this row until you have 3 stitches left. So go ahead and do that. 1 double crochet in each stitch until you have 3 unworked stitches remaining in this row. And now that we are down to our 3 unworked stitches at the end of row 14, I'm going to do a double crochet increase in the 3rd stitch from the end of the row. So 2 double crochet stitches go in this one. And then the last 2 stitches are each treble crochet increases. So you're going to be putting 2 treble crochets into each of these stitches. And working with this many strands of yarn, you'll notice I've got this arm quite high up off the table. It's a lot easier to be able to manipulate all of the strands, especially if you've got really tight cakes of yarn that it's drawing from. You have to keep tugging on it to loosen it to have enough to complete your stitches. So there we go. 2 double crochets, 2 treble crochets, 2 more treble crochets, and that wraps up round 14. We are nearing the end now. Row 15 is our last row, and then we will be doing the edging and doing all of the finishing funness. So for row 15, I'm going to chain 4 yet again. Turn the work. We're going to do a treble crochet increase in that first stitch right at the base of the starting chain. So 2 treble crochet stitches go here. The next stitch is 1 treble crochet. And for the rest of the row, we're going to just do a double crochet in each stitch until you have 2 stitches left unworked. So go ahead and get that done. And I will meet you at the end of row 15 so we can finish up your forest fairy hood. We are down to the final 2 stitches unworked in row 15. The second to last stitch is going to be a treble crochet. And the last stitch is going to be a treble crochet increase, so there will be 2 treble crochets here. Now, we are not going to be turning the work because we are now going to be working the edging for the entirety of the hood. So now we're actually going to be working along the back edge of the hood, and then we're going to be working around the front in a different stitch. So we're going to be going down this side, going to chain one to start, and then you're going to be putting single crochets pretty much anywhere there's an available space. Personally, I like to do 3 single crochets for each treble. So in this top portion here, there will be 1 single crochet, and in this bigger space along the larger leg of the stitch, there will be 2 single crochets. So just to show you what that looks like, a single crochet into that top portion, and do 2 single crochets into this bottom portion. So you're going to do that all the way along the back of the hood until you get over to this other edge here. So it'll be the top of this starting chain over here. Once you reach that point, meet back up with me and I will show you how to do the reverse single crochet or the crab stitch around the front edge of the hood. So now that you've got your single crochets done all along the back edge of the Forest Fairy hood, you're going to be over at this side here. We're actually going to cut the yarn here, and we're going to reattach it on the opposite side on the front. So leave yourself a long enough tail to sew in all your ends. I like to leave about 6 to 8 inches. And you can just slip stitch it right down into that chain to secure it so it will not come undone while you're working on the rest. So now we're going to flip the piece over. You're going to want the front of the hood, the outside of the front of the hood facing you. We're going to attach the yarn on from our viewpoint, what will be the left front side of the hood. So we're going to take our yarn and we're going to make a slip knot wrapped around your finger, cross it over, open up this loop, and you're going to push that right through and pull on it until it makes a knot. Put your hook in, pull on the yarn until it's snug against the hook but not too snug, and now we're going to start the reverse single crochet border. Once you've got your slip knot on your hook, we're actually going to go right into this first space and slip stitch to attach our yarn to the piece. And I just kind of swing my tails over here so they're out of the way. Now, reverse single crochet, if you have never done it before, feels really, really weird. Even after doing several of these, it's still very strange to me. So what you're going to do for a reverse single crochet is make note of where your next stitch is. It's going to be the stitch before this one here. You're going to put your hook in from the front, going to yarn over, pull a loop through. You want to keep your tension kind of relaxed on this because if you make it too tight, it's going to make the front edge pucker. Nurgle, stop. If you make it too tight, it's going to make the front edge pucker. So right now we've got 2 loops on the hook, just like you would with a regular single crochet. So you're going to yarn over and go through both loops, just like you would with any other single crochet. Now for your next one, we're going to go into this space right here, again through the front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through both. The first couple of stitches, you're not really going to notice how awesome it is, but don't worry about that. The further along you get, the cooler it's going to be. So we're just going to keep going through the front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through both loops. Just going to keep doing that all the way across the front to the other edge in every one of the stitches until you meet up with your tails that are on the other side of the hood. So go ahead and do that and meet up with me when you're finished with that part. Now that we have finished our reverse single crochet or crab stitch edge all along the front of the hood, we're back over at the corner where we left our tail before. And now just going to cut off the yarn, again leaving a long enough tail to weave in all your ends securely. Going to slip stitch right into that space and pull the yarn through. Now the only things left to do are weave in your ends and add whatever things you would like to the hood. You could go for some big buttons. With this bit hanging off of the top, I like to attach a tassel to it. If you are interested in making a tassel, I will have a separate video that will be linked at the end of this that will show you how to do that. And as you can see, this thing is so huge I can't even get it all in the shot. So this is a nearly completed Forest Fairy hood, and I'm going to show you a couple of others that I have on hand just to show you the different effects of different weights of yarn. This one was made with a combination of super bulky yarn and one strand of worsted weight yarn all the way throughout. As you can see, this one has the tassel off the top portion. You could also add tassels to the bottom portion if you were so inclined. And this is the first one that I made that has a few other optional bits to it. As you can see, this one is rounded. It does not have the 2 rows of the 4 double crochet. It just starts right off in 6 double crochets right in your magic ring. And this has a pom-pom attached. This is all made with just 1 strand of super bulky weight yarn. But as you can see, the edging is still crab stitch or reverse single crochet. And the only sparkle that I added to this particular hat was right on the edge. And this is done with several different shades of yarn. I actually added this one in to add a little more color contrast, and this is all done in Lion Brand Woolly Stick and Click. So this is actually partly wool. So there are a lot of different options, a lot of different things that you can do with it. Make it your own, have fun with it. If you would like to tag me on social media for any of your makes, we're going to use the hashtag ForestFairyRR. And you can use that on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Join the Facebook group if you want to show off your makes with other people who are fans of this channel. The Facebook group is Random Randy's Random Family. And if you are interested in obtaining the written pattern in all of its succinct glory of only needing 1 page if you print it front and back, because personally, if I'm going to print out a pattern, I don't like it to take 20 pages of full-scale pictures because I think that's wasteful. But that's just my personal opinion on that. So if you would like to obtain that pattern, the written pattern is available on both Ravelry and Etsy. Or if you join my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/randomrandy, you will get access to this pattern, my Hangetsu shawl pattern, and a menagerie of other patterns that are forthcoming and other things I will be digging out of my archives to share with you all at an earlier time than the general public gets a hold of them for a small monetary donation each month. So check that out if you are interested. And I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you have lots of fun making forest fairy hoods, and I really look forward to seeing hopefully some smaller sizes of them as well. I'd love to see some people's adorable kids wearing these hoods. So thank you so much everybody for watching. Leave comments down below the video if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks again so much for watching, everybody. Bye.